Hello everybody, welcome to another Valheim video. Today you're going to be learning how to move buildings, save buildings, load buildings, blueprints, all this stuff using Infinity Hammer. Infinity Hammer is a fantastic mod that is incredibly useful in so many more ways than what this video is going to show you. To get started, you'll need to install Infinity Hammer. Make sure you also have the dependencies, server Devcommands, and world edit commands. I'm not going to detail that. We're just going to get right into actually using the tool to move buildings. So here we have a very basic little platform and a sign with some custom information on it, or some text, right? So what we will do is open up our hammer with Infinity Hammer installed and go to the miscellaneous tab. We're going to be focused on the third and the fourth, building pipette and area pipette. To begin, we'll look at area pipette. Don't worry too much about pipette. Think of it as selector or mover or whatever easier word to understand comes to mind. In this case, you can select the objects, right? And then once you select them, boom, look at that. Another one can be placed exactly where you want it. So I'm going to place it right here. And then I'm going to place another one, I don't know, like right here, right? So you can use some of the existing snap points and you can quickly copy a building just like that. So you can do the same thing that you just saw using the building pipette, except this is going to basically auto-select it, right? So it's going to select everything that it thinks is within that building, all right? That's one way to do it. But in the beginning, it's probably better that you start with this because you can get a better sense of what it's actually doing. And now, before we get into the blueprint functionality, there's another thing you can do that's pretty useful. Have you ever just built something that it's just in the wrong place? It's slightly to the left or slightly to the right, and you'd have to rebuild the entire thing in Valheim to move it. Well, thanks to the area pipette or the building pipette, you can just hold left alt and then pipette it, and look at that. It goes away. And now when I place it, I've basically moved it somewhere else. You see? So it's sort of like cut and paste versus copy and paste, okay? So now we have all of that. Now we need to learn how we can save blueprints using Infinity Hammer. The first thing to know is you have to have everything selected already. So like this, it needs to be in the hammer part here. You see, we have it says multiple, it shows a list of the pieces. This is our selection. Once we have made our selection, we can open up the console and type hammer and then save. And we're going to do a tutorial doc. Okay, that's the name of the blueprint, right? And that's it. Now we have tutorial doc blueprint. And if you go into your base Valheim installation and you go into the plan build folder, you'll be able to find the blueprint. And look at that. I didn't even need to leave the game and I can already see the tutorial doc blueprint located here. So if you want to download something someone else made, you put it in this folder and then you can place it in game using Infinity Hammer. Now, people often don't know about this feature because it's not just like something like this. You have to type a command, right? But all you have to do is hammer and then blueprint and then the name of the blueprint that you added to that folder that I just showed you. In our case, it is tutorial doc, right? So we go hammer, blueprint, tutorial doc, and then there we go. We can now place our blueprint. However, there's a little bit more nuance to it than just what you've seen so far. This is technically all you need to know, but you're going to have some problems placing much bigger builds. What you need to do is modify the center point, okay? And the easiest way to do that is to just find any kind of individual object that has a very clearly defined base. In this case, the coin stack might not be the best, but it doesn't really matter. And what you're going to do is look closely. because you can see that there are some red arrows on the placement box, right? Those arrows show the direction for your blueprint. So this is the forward facing direction. The arrows face forward, all right? So we want this area here to be the entrance of our blueprint. So I'm going to place one stack of coins here. Now, it doesn't have to be coin stack. It just has to be something that's not already in the rest of your building. So if you have coin stacks in your building, then that won't work. In that case, maybe you want to use something like hammer, then maybe glowing mushroom. This is something players cannot build, but you can build it and just remove it later, right? And then that way you know for certain this isn't in your base, okay? And now, it's the same process as before. We select area pipette, and we include the item that we're going to use as our center point. And now we have the selection on the hammer. We open up the console, and we type hammer, save, just like before. In fact, we can even repeat almost everything the same, except we're going to name it tutorial doc 2, and then the center is going to be defined. Center equals treasure stack, just like that. And now when we save it, we're going to get a different placement option. As you can see, the coin pile becomes the center object for the entire blueprint. And as I mentioned, you don't have to use a coin pile. You can use whatever you would like. It just has to be something that doesn't exist somewhere else. And now with this information, you'll be able to place, save, move, copy buildings very easily. If you like this kind of thing and you want to have a whole server set up, then you can do it with plan build, and there's more advanced functionality. But if you just want to do some basic server management, then Infinity Hammer, it actually works better from my experience, because plan build has to be on the server. Whereas Infinity Hammer, you can just log on, and as long as you have Devcommands access, then you should be good. So just something to keep in mind, okay? That being said, I hope that you enjoy. If you want to support my work, then consider supporting me on Patreon. You can give me some money to encourage me. I don't have any fancy benefits or anything. I'll just be straight up with you. And if you want to get your own Valheim server, then you can rent one at Zap Hosting using my link, JP Valheim. I've got loads of content about how you can customize your Valheim experience and how to do it, and I'm making more. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye-bye!